hearth is lit and it's time to forge you yet another stream. And today we take a break from our Dark Souls 2 adventure to move on to something a little bit different, a little bit more creative. We are trying to show the Forge's creative spark today with highlighting a little bit of 3D modeling. One thing I do want to note right off the bat though, as I'm trying to fiddle with this right now, you might see it a little bit on the chats over here. For some strange reason, my Streamlabs chatbot is not connecting or responding at all, so unfortunately all commands are kind of down right now, and that I'll have to play with that later on, but I guess we're flying solo bot-wise. We have a little bit of Nightbot functionality in there, but all our major commands are unfortunately down for time. But that's okay. Today I've got quite the queue lined up for us actually on what we can do. We are going to be focusing specifically on iconic features that are in many video games we love and adore to this day. And I'm talking things like the Hylian Shield and Legend of Zelda. I'm talking about the Iron Helm in Skyrim, some Mario stuff, some even like the Sims Diamond, which is probably the most simple thing. We'll start with that because it's so darn quick, just to get a feel for that 3D space for those who have never seen it before. Without further ado, I have so much to show you then. I have a whole list of things that we can go on through here, and unfortunately I closed it, it seems. I do want to note we will be sporting Pretzel Rock's Builder's Vibe playlist today too, so we're not going completely quiet here. And man, this thing is so freaking bright right now. But yeah, I really don't know what's up with the chatbot, but we'll see what we can start with first. If I can find a folder, that would be good. I had this open, and instinctually I closed it, so forgive me while I get this up again. Alright. We are going to start with old tried and true. Oh, if not, you don't want to open, do you, too? Darn it, really? We're going to have problem after problem today? There we go. Old tried and true, the Sims Diamond. Very, very, very simple for us to construct today, but I think it's appropriate to start off very small, because we're going to see how many of these we can get through within an hour. I have a whole list aside from the ones I just mentioned here. But feel free, if you have any ideas about what you would like to see us go in here too, throw them in and we'll add it to the list. Perhaps we'll even do that instead, but in the meantime, we do have plenty lined up. We are sporting Autodesk Inventor for today's 3D modeling as well. It is a program that I have been given the seat for I use this program a lot at work. And we've done one stream before with the bat on here before, which we never got to finish. Kind of because I lost some direction on where to go with the facial features. The thing about Inventor is it's very much designed towards the like an industrial industry, a little more hard lines, a little less organic as opposed to like Maya or something where you'll see a lot of 3D models for video games being made in. But nonetheless, it does the job. So first off, for those of you who have never seen 3D modeling before, think about drawing on a notepad. You draw in that 2D space that you try to think about, even if it's just a stick figure or whatever. That's how everything starts in 3D space. It's all drawing rectangles and shapes and little things like that in 2D space before anything else. Probably the hardest part about the Sims Diamond is getting the ratio correct too, so we'll be playing around with that. We'll make this, actually we'll make this 4 inches. We're working in inches right now. Make this times 2. So that's 8. So that will be what we start at. Once you have these 2D sketches, you can then add dimension to them, and that's where your 3D element comes in. So at that point then, we've already given it length and width and all those little features we want to see, and then we add the depth. And from there, it's kind of how 3D modeling works. It's you pick a face, you add, you remove material until eventually it becomes what you want it to be. So we've added in this block we're going to start using to make our diamond here. I probably don't need this image to be so incredibly huge. And at this point, we're actually going to remove some of the shape of it too. Starting off as a full block like this is known as the machinist standpoint of view. where you start with all your material and you slowly chip away at it. It's very good for manufacturing processes because you actually know what you have to work with and what you could take away and realistically expect for it to come out as well. I suppose we do have pretzel rock going today too. So a nice diamond shape, just like we're trying to go for. I don't keep that on screen just because it won't stay on screen. We will take out those pieces of material. We have part of the diamond. We have that front face. So in this 2D plane it looks like it, but we know in the 3D plane that's not right. That's not right. That just looks like the square. We're going to take this then. We're actually going to spin this about an axis if I can remember where everything is. Alright, circular. We'll rotate it about 90 degrees. As such. And it cuts out a nice diamond shape. Now we'll see if we got this ratio pretty close. I'd say it's kind of close. It might be a little skinnier than we're letting on though. So perhaps a little skinnier. Maybe like 3.75. Nah, call it 3.5. Ah, the only thing is now that's a little bit wrong on that. I want to use a certain dimension. I want to use the dimension that is 3.5, which is D1 in this case, when it comes to extruding this out, so that we always know that this is going the correct width. So it doesn't matter how we shape it from now on. Perhaps it wasn't that skinny. Perhaps 3.75 will do it. Try this again. Not too bad. Probably help us a little bit too, is if we take this sketch right here, we actually put the image in here, we might be able to get it kind of close to where we need it to be. Forgive me while I'm trying to find it. Things have moved around a little bit compared to what I'm used to in the work environment. Sims diamond right there, open, like that. Okay. Oh, excuse you. Take this so we have just the cross-section view here. Excuse you. Right here. Line you up right in the center. You right in the center again here. Get rid of that again at the F7 point. We are pretty darn close, I'd say. Perhaps it is actually a little more stout than what we're letting on, though. We take this and make it maybe, oh, call it, we're going to take a ½ inch out of here. That's a lot closer. This picture of the gem isn't quite exactly isometric. This would be pretty darn close to what we're trying to get for the shape. Make it see a little better. For some reason the edges don't want to show. Okay. We got to give it some color, of course. See what we got for, if we have a clear green, that would be nice. We do. Assign that to there. It's a little more dark than I was expecting, so we'll try to change that up a bit. Alright. Oh, everything needs to load up. Perhaps a little bit more on the... not quite as clear, too, is what we're going for. Perhaps a little more green. Perhaps on the transparency, make it like 50. We'll actually use the image we have, too, to help do some reflecting. Stream, iconic, Sims. Is that for helping with the reflection a little bit? It is definitely a little too green now, though. That's too dark still. A little more vibrant. Definitely too much on the transparency still. Oh, like 25. Just a little bit. Perhaps we can even use this. No. That's no good. I can get rid of that again. That would be good. It won't let me. Cancel that. No, we won't save the edits. We'll change it again, though. We have this. That's good. The transparency amount we had at 25. Just a little bit of transparency. Alright. That. A little bit. This. That's not too bad. You're not going to get the same refraction every time. Perhaps a little more realistic we could. If we ultimately put in a lot of the lighting that we would when we were trying to, say, use Studio to render out an image, it probably would look a little bit more realistic. Even with a perspective view like this, I'd be able to make it look a little bit better. Just a little bit. A little more diamondy. Not too bad. The ratio's there. Eventually with the coloring and with the rendering, it would look a lot less plain and opaque, I suppose. But it's not too bad for what we've got going here. Save this up and we'll say that's a pretty good start to our iconic list here. I went a little too far. Iconic piece of Sims. Sims Diamond. Diamond. Alright, then we're on to our next project then. So we've already done the Sims Diamond. I think we could move out to something a little more detailed now. This is probably the most simplistic one that we had here. How about we do the question block from Mario? One of the most iconic pieces in video game history is that very distinctive question block you always get from Mario, used in many different other video games, the same concept. Nice start, perhaps. But this one's going to be a little bit simple just on the start. I'm going to say make this like a 6-inch square cube. We'll have this definitely be a cube, keeping the same size. And that's our start. We'll even start by saying this needs to be yellow. Just to make it a little easier at the beginning to figure out what this is. That's a very bright yellow. Perhaps it's not too far off, though. I think I have it open. No, I don't. Definitely needs to be a bit more orangey. More orangey yellow would be good. Something, no, a little more yellow than that. A little bit more. Too orangey. Right there. It's not bad, actually. Not perfect. Best thing would be to use an eyedropper or something. But I think that's a good start right there. Yes, save edits. Now with the question block, I'm probably going to be keeping this on the other side of the screen for the most part. We should be able to get, actually, I might need to get one more image of a face-on version of the question block just to kind of make this next step a little easier. Let's see if I can grab that really quick. Mario question block, please. Face-on view would be nice. Even this would work. It's a Lego brick looking thing, though. Give me, I thought I had enough. There we go. This is what we need. Save image as. Okay. It's not image. Okay, there we go. Pardon me while I set this up here. That's not the right folder. There it is. Okay, project, stream, conic, block, question block. That will do, pig. That will do. Oh, I don't need to put that down. Making sure. Okay, so we got that one, and we've got the other one there. So what we're gonna do actually is we're gonna take that new image we just got, just like we did with the Sims Diamond for reference. Put this block right on the face. Much bigger than we need it to be, though. Project this corner here. We're actually going to project another corner. Say this one. That way we can anchor this swiftly here. Here. Make sure you are still horizontal. Alright. Now that should just be perfectly the face of the block. And we could technically pattern this around, but we want to make sure this is 3D. This isn't a decal. If we were to say go to 3D print something like this image would not come out at all. So we want to make it so it will. We'll start with just a little bit tracing here. That's the nice thing about doing it this way, is you could get these traces on here pretty easily. Come on, you. Right there. We can clean this up later. All about getting that rough shape for the time being. Right there. Since this is an image, we unfortunately can't use any pieces to really anchor into it. But we can get most of what we need from this. Alright, so that's already there. This next part's easy enough to just take a flat out rectangle to it and just say, give me this. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to vertical this. I might have to just spend some time anchoring some points. So we know that this is horizontal. That's fine. I'm gonna say that this is a 45-degree angle. This is also a 45-degree angle. It knows that already. Everything here needs to be 45s. To make it nice and square. Yep. How about you? Yep, you're square. This one's probably square as well. Yep, it's also a 45. Beautiful. Alright, so that makes things a lot easier. Just a little bit of you with you will line up. We need an anchor point, though. We need to say that this is one point we're very happy with. Say, like, right here. We'll try and get this in the middle for a lot of these things. That way we can actually start building geometry off of here and not having to worry if things get a little bit askew. Kind of like that. Almost. Say here. That's close enough. Excuse me. For some reason it won't let me select anything, so do it this way. Lock those down. That's kind of getting there. Oh. Want that locked. Right there. We'll lock it. This one right there. We'll lock it right there. Here we'll lock it. This one here. That's pretty close. So start getting a lot closer pretty quickly as we keep progressing with that. Almost. And a little more here. More here. More there. That's close. You don't need to be in line with one of these. One of these is in line. I don't know where that is lining up though. 1, 2, that's what I don't need. I don't need that. For some reason it's still moving with it though. That one I don't need. That should line up just fine, I would think. Come on, you. You should be independent by now. That's parallel, that's parallel. This is parallel with something up there. Should be that this has got some kind of, okay. Delete that constraint. There we go. That's what was doing it. Okay. Now that's all set. Say we're extruding this out just a little bit. Say 1/4 inch. Just to give it some texture. Make this white. It's a white we like. We kind of like this regular white. Just like that. Right on these corners, we want to see this sketch again. Perhaps we can do something a little bit like this. We can take this here just to get us a rough estimate of what we need. These are equal. Strain these over here to say 1/2 inch each. Just to make it even. We can put a hole through here, here, there, and there. For some reason, okay, these are a little off, so we'll say you go wherever the center point is here. Should be somewhere. So, wow, that is so bright. Here with... No, don't do that to me. Here, one right there. One right here, one right there. That's already constrained. I want to see that sketch again because when I go to make these... Okay, these are a little bit off now. I see them. So this needs to be down maybe far. Not bad. Come on, you. Do it this way. 525. Closer. 53. Pretty close. 0.55. Definitely too far, so 0.54. I think we have it at 0.535. It's not bad. Put some holes in here. Looks like if we get them roughly 1/2 inch, that'll do it. We don't need these all the way through. Just say distance. We'll say it's pretty shallow. We'll make it a 1/4 inch in as well. And I might be able to put a little bit of a round on this. This should actually be a diameter of 0.5. So that's what we had here. We'll make this like 0.4. That shouldn't be too bad looking at that. Yeah, because that's the round right there. That's pretty darn close. About, it says 82 degrees. We'll call it 45 degrees. Might be a little far. We'll see. We don't see this part of it anymore. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. We will make this a blind hole, though, not a drill point hole. Like that. Okay, because we don't care about that kind of detail. And at this point, we can actually take these features here. Do kind of like what we did with the Sims, where we can rotate this around axis, like this. Or 360 around. That makes it so we have question blocks on all sides. Only thing is, I might have to... Here, let's separate those out, actually. We're going to make this one a circular pattern on its own. You'll see why in just a second here when we do it. That way we could take this pattern, just apply the white color to it, make it a little easier, rather than have to track down and highlight all those faces on their own. And we'll take the whole pattern and we'll do the same exact thing. We'll circle it around this axis right here. It's all around the same. Now, one thing to note about this block is that it's rounded. It's not this square blockiness. It does have a little bit of a soft edge to it, at least. I mean, it's not going to look like it from dead on, but you'll see it in most cases where we can go through, select all of the edges that we have around here just to soften this up a bit more. I think we've almost got all of them. Alright, we'll say that this is a 0.25. It makes it nice, soft, it doesn't interfere with our holes at all. It looks a lot nicer. One thing I might do just to... Let me see if I can get this pretty close to how it looks in picture. Pretty darn close. I mean, we turn off the edges here. Shaded here. Perhaps the lighting's a little harsh. It's not bad. It's pretty darn close. One thing I do see, though, is we have some edges on this. We'll actually step back a few bits here. We'll say we're going to go right to here, because there's some things we want to change about this, and I do want to see the edges again. We're going to want to do kind of the same thing. We're going to want to put an edge a little bit on all of this here. It's not quite perfectly square like that. Just not how the block is. Get all these edges here, just like this. More, a little bit more, a little bit more. Call it, I think it was 0.25. Is it right to the edge there? It might be a little too much, so we'll do 0.125, because it's definitely not the entire way on the block. That just rounds it out a bit more. Take this chamfer, is the term for that particular kind of feature, and round it up a bit more. Now when we go to do the circular pattern here, you can actually go back and include this in as well, so everything will update just fine. We have that nice round block. Oh, excuse you. There's nothing on top really defining this thing. Kind of like that. Rotate a little bit more. Not bad. I'd say that's not bad at all. I mean, once again, the shadowing and whatnot, the reflectiveness is all a render kind of thing, so everything's going to look kind of flat unless you were to go out and render this, which takes a little bit of CPU, so it's not going to be that great to do on stream. But perhaps I'll go through these, and we've already got two features, two of our things done on this list. Now I'll take a good save on this. Mario question block. That's already... Oh, excuse this. We don't need this. That's already two different things we got done. The very quick Sims, and we also got the very nice Mario block going down here. And we are about only halfway through our time, too. So we're making some great progress today. So the question is, what's next? We have quite a few things still on the list here. We've done Sims, we've done Mario. I kind of want to go let's go with Legend of Zelda. We're going to do the Hylian Shield. We're not going to quite tackle Skyrim right away, because it's a little bit more in depth. Probably the Hylian Shield would be the best thing to go to next. And for those of you who don't know what the Hylian Shield is, that would be this shield right here. Very iconic metal shield that you get in most Legend of Zelda games. It might have changed shape over time, but this is the kind of design we're going for here. I do want to use this image instead, which does show a little bit more detail than the other images did with the front, back, and side. So first off, we'll have to start off with a basic shape somewhere. It wouldn't hurt to actually take this image as a start either. Perhaps I will actually make use of the flat one we have, because that'll be helpful in the long run, and we'll use the other one for a little bit more detailing. So back to getting an image in here. Benefit of this one is we can actually size it according to what we need to. Take a center right there. Take a center right here. We'll say this is about, well, it's going to be a little bit smaller right now than that. So we'll say 7 inches in this direction. And whatever this needs to be. It looks like 7 by 7 because it's a square image. For some reason, it's not fully constrained. Okay. One thing I want to note about the sizes I'm picking, why I'm picking 7 inches and not, say, going like full size with these shields, is I'm anticipating for the future that one day we might actually have a 3D printer or something, or maybe these files can be sent out to one of you who has a 3D printer if you would like the file. And that way, most trays are probably only about like 8 inches by 8 inches by a little bit less height. That way, this is a lot easier to print at home. And we can always scale this up, we can always scale it down. There's ways to do that just to make it fit properly. So thinking a little bit ahead for the future. Jeshiki, raid! Thank you very much. Did a raid actually come through? If you're looking for the raid command, unfortunately it seems like our bot is down today, but how are you doing? Good to see you and welcome to the Forge! How is your week going so far? Alright, we're gonna start off with a little bit of a radius there. It's not gonna be perfect probably. I hope I did say your name right as well. I'm not the greatest when it comes to pronunciations. Move it right about there. Okay. Downside of doing it like this is unfortunately I do not see the lines as easily. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take these lines here. I'm going to give them a green property so I can actually see them a little bit better. Find my properties, that would be good. I think I'm accidentally selecting something else. Okay, so properties, usually they're black. We're going to make them bright green so we can see that no problem. And okay, so that's lined up. This is lined up. Make use of constructions while we can too. Make sure everything is lined up set. We can use this to get the height, particular of the shield, correct as well. That's not too bad on height. I see it here. So the only problem doing this is it's not going to be very incremented completely. Sure, this and this are equal. This and this are equal. I do have to look into why the Streamlabs chatbot actually died for some reason. It was working so well until probably the end of last week, actually. I noticed it stopped working. It's just not connecting properly. But regardless, press on. There's only so much we can do. Okay, so with this, we've got this is almost about where we need. I'm going to call it 4.6. Even. It's not quite centered either, it seems. maybe a little bit more. 4.61. Getting really non-integer right here. I think most resolutions on cheap 3D printers would probably be about like 0.01 millimeters, so it's like 0.015 inches, so we can't go too far. Probably about 2 decimals is about all we can really get out of something, not any further. Even this, that means that we could probably get, call it 5.7. There's 6.7. We got that point, that point, that point all set there. I might want to put this dimension on here just for anchoring that down a bit more. Need to anchor something somewhere. To the center point there. Keep everything from moving around, hopefully. Then at this point, all we really need to do is resize this a little bit. Oh, it seems like I'm still moving side to side. Something's moving. It shouldn't be. Oh, I know what's happening. I need the center point of this to stay on there. That way that's not going to move. Okay. So we can set this down where we need it to go for about... Let's see. Now, center point needs to go down a little more. Like, try manipulating it here. It's a little out still. Might even be a little bit of a flat edge on this, I'm noticing. Might not be able to capture all in one. I'd say that's pretty darn close, actually. Right there. Okay. We'll throw our dimensions on here. Dimensions on here. That was close from the get-go. I think that means everything should be constrained. Good. Good, good, good. Time to extrude you out. We'll go the opposite direction with you. How thick do we want this shield? That is way too thick. 1/4 inch also seems a little thin. Call it a 1/2 inch. We can go back and change it later. And we might be using that same image again later on to kind of get that those decals in there a little easier without having to hand draw them. I don't know if we're going to be able to completely finish this today, but one thing about this shield is real shields aren't this flat disc. They're forged, they got this nice bend in it so that when you hit a sword on it, it kind of goes right off one way to another, perhaps slides down the top or the bottom. You kind of see that here in this image as well. If I can open this up a little more, there's a little bit of an arc, so we're gonna have to try and work off, instead of these flat surfaces that we have been going on, a little bit more of a radius and curved surface, but not so much at the same time. So we're gonna achieve that. Actually, I don't know why I'm in a sketch here. I'm moving a plane out, call it 1/2 inch out. Say if that's about where we want the curve of our shield to go. For now, we'll say that's okay. Then we'll pick a point. Make a sketch on here. We'll say, this is the point where I want this to raise up on. Ideally, it does seem like this would go about the center of the shield, perhaps a little bit higher. For the time being, call it like 0.5 off, just slightly above. No, even lower than that, 0.25. Just slightly above where the center is that we've established. Then we take a loft, which takes the edges of this spot, brings it up to this point to kind of make it come up. But obviously it's not supposed to be flat like that. Go in here, round this out. So now it's curved, but my god, that is way too far, of course. Actually, we kind of want the edge on this one. The curve was supposed to be here. Because we don't really want this point to be so curved here, we want it to just kind of come off flat from that area. Change the weight of this to about 1/2. It gets a nice curve here, but it also gives us that sharp edge right at that point too. At that point, we have a nice curve. right here. Comes out a lot better on a realistic point of view. In reality, we probably should be able to smooth out those edges a little bit more in the future. It's not going to be easy to perfectly get these non-tangent edges completely smooth, unfortunately. So we'll have to work around that, just as our limitation of my own experience and of working on curved surfaces, and just for the sake of argument as we're going through this. This is when we can actually start to get that image back in here. It actually would probably be best if we found that same image here, just to keep this general size again. Project these points again. We know when we put this image in again, it's going to line up exactly the same. Here? I think I just placed a point by accident. Darn it. Wait, step forward. What am I doing? Okay, there we go. Point right here. Right there. That is that, so we don't need this sketch anymore. Okay, so at that point we have our shield outline all ready to go and get pasted onto there as we would like to, and we'd like to emboss it and make it a little bit more three-dimensional, because now that we're working on this curved surface, we can't quite take away in the same method. We'll have to use a emboss method, which is kind of like when you feel on the back of a surface of something plastic you might own, when somebody puts like their logo or something into it. It's a little textured. That's what an emboss is. So we don't really necessarily need this outline anymore. In fact, we could just project that onto our plane here. Now we know everything that we have already about the shield. This is the defined edge of this. So what we can do is offset this, because we're going to work on the trim around here first. Say about down here. Not too bad as a starting point. Right there, call it 0.2324. Just to keep that 2 decimal, which is pretty darn close. Here we can just take some points like that, establish them as we need to as well. Make these equal. I'd say that's pretty darn close already with what we want to do. Maybe a little bit different on the angle. Call it 120. Perhaps even more. 135. Not exactly what I was looking for. That's too much. So 125. Should be the same angle. Keep that right there. Keep this a little bit centered on here. Apparently it already exists. Right. Say we were closer at 120. And a little bit there, a little bit here. Not too bad. This picture is not 100% centered, so I say that is close enough. Anchor this here. That's all set. Do something similar around most of these edges as well. It's not going to be a perfect replica, because there is a little bit of 3D-ness in this picture as well. Oh, thank you. Make you that. Speed this up a little bit more just by saying that these are locked in where they're going to be. Right here, there, there. Not too bad. And I'm thinking about shields when they're really forged in real life. They're not absolutely perfect either. Now this is probably one spot we're going to need to give a little more attention to. Especially given the curve here. So we'll have to try and get this little tangent going as well. Just so it transitions relatively smooth. I'd say that's not bad. We'll make sure these are level. We're working. They should be equal as well for the most part. There. Right here. For some reason these aren't actually lining up, are they? Oh, they are. It's not too far off, I suppose. It's a little bit better back here. Okay. So that and that are now locked. You can lock that, you know. Lock that, and you can lock this. That shouldn't be able to change. A little bit like this, a little bit over, and here. Equal angles. It's over a little bit. It's not quite centered like I thought. Go a little bit higher just to compensate. Our shield's going to be kind of similar, like I said a couple times. It's not going to be perfect to this image. What we could do too is take line here. Take 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Mirror these about this line. That should work. Pretty darn close. Ah, I seem to have forgotten a piece actually. It's fine. These don't always intersect perfect either. Perhaps I'll try one more time. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. This is counting with Raikou. I hope you've enjoyed. Here, that, apply, done. Now, if I were to go emboss this right now, I'm not confident that it will actually take every single one of these because of that mirror. Alright. So, try and emboss it. Yeah, it doesn't want to take those. Combine the sketch points, yes, please. No? Okay. Appreciate if you don't crash on me, so we're gonna save this beforehand. Before we get too far into this. Zelda Hylian Shield. I totally spelled that wrong. Hylian. Oh. Hylian, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so that's nice and saved. I don't think these are technically connected. That's part of the problem. Make sure that these connect at some point here. Via a point. Hopefully that'll establish area. If I were to try and extrude it, yeah, okay, so that would work. They're close, but for some reason when you mirror it, they don't want to connect where they should. And one more point. Right here. Oh. I think if we try to extrude that, no, for some reason that still doesn't want to. That's why, because it didn't actually connect. Yes, okay, good. That's our tester. We have the green lines, that means everything can get embossed. Now with the emboss, which is right here. Take this area, this one. Oh, too much. Let's see if I can actually get some of this in here without getting every single area. I'm trying to avoid that middle area the best I can. That area. This one. This one, and that one. Okay, so we got all of that. We're going to say this is going to come out about 1/8 again. You'll see the final result being, once it calculates, because it is a curved surface, it might take a second, it might even be too much. Attempt to thicken operation, gap result from thicken, try smaller thickness. Alright. Try a little smaller. Might work now. It might have just been too much thickness for it to deal with. Might even just have to scale everything down because of that, but everything's parametric. Everything should scale just fine if we were to go ahead. Don't you want to work? Do you work at any depth? 0.01, like something very small, perhaps. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't want to work on a. Let's try using the make this loft a little darker, like black or something. Just so you can see that's what we've accomplished there. It's very tiny detail. It's not quite what I was hoping. The emboss. Open loop, close. Okay. Close the loop. Ah, it's the same problem there. Okay. Trying to go a little bit thicker on there doesn't seem to work. If I try wrapping to the base. Ah, doesn't want to wrap to that base, does it? Try one more time on this thickness. Maybe it'll work a little better this time. I do have another idea, actually, now I think about it. I don't need to do it this way if this fails this way. I could try the opposite. Here, so we'll change the profile of it. What I might actually do is I might delete this feature, not delete the sketches. Do emboss again, but we'll try and get just the center area here. Doesn't want to seem to grab just that. I can try and exclude this piece afterwards. Nope, doesn't want to do that. You know there's another profile you want. Why won't you select it though? So strange. Okay. Where'd my emboss go? Well, for now we'll try and see if it works this way. It might not. So we can cut in about 1/8 again and see if that works. No, still doesn't want to cut in. Perhaps the face is the wrong way now. Nope. A 1. It'll cut into it just barely for some reason. 0.05. 5 times that. Perhaps not. 2.5. 2.5 is the limit. But we still didn't even get exactly what we wanted, so We're gonna have to go back to what we had before, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab that one. Grab this one. We'll take the decal. You will make it 0.3. Let's see if we can get away with that. Apparently not. Not like that direction for some reason. We'll do 0.2. That's about all it'll do. It does give us a little bit of depth. Perhaps we'll have to revisit the depth on that some other point. But I do want to change our whole loft that we've had here. It's actually supposed to be a blue. Blue for the shield. It's very blue. A little darker blue would be nice. I think we could... No, not tropical. We could make use of something like this. Make it not quite as vibrant. Perhaps something a little duller. A little too purpley. It's not too bad. I mean, the Hylian shield, I mean, it might come down to lighting at that point, that maybe the lighting will fix it up. There's a lot when it comes to the metallicness of this we haven't actually touched either, so see if we can get like a good like aluminum sheen. Tank. Not the flat aluminum. Sheen kind of gives it like a textured. Brush finish would be kind of nice towards the back, I think. Definitely not the welded finish. That. Do the same thing with the emboss, the same color. Won't show up too much onto this, but I don't think we're going to be able to get the full detail on today, but we might be able to get a little bit of this back bit. This little indentation they've got going, because that would be very simple to do. Start off with offset down to about here. Call it 0.4, which isn't too bad. And we could take some center rectangles, treat it like that. No, not quite actually. It's going to have to be lines. This, same thing going across, like that, like this. Horizontal on these ones. Pull on these. Say the, alright, so I'm going to need a 2 lines here, like this, to get this centered on each other here. That. The same thing over here. So we can manipulate where those are. Say, alright, I'm not going to trim. We're going to say this and this are equal. That's not too bad where it is, too. We're going to say this is about 0.55 on the thickness here. Then we could take a single point here, which crosses between each of these. Just like that, and I think we can get those 4 quadrants just like that. Might even be able to this whole thing up a little more. Say that this needs to be about 0.55 as well up. So it's a little bit offset. From here, I think we take this, 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 and this quadrant. cut away about 0.25, because that's been the standard for a little bit here, just to kind of relieve some of that weight of the shield. Take a fillet. That one apparently up there is not rounded, so we have a round here, here, and here, but not at those top bottom points. So there, here, here, there, and there. This is a severe round. This does too. Just like that. You can make that maybe a bit more severe, like a 1/4 inch again. Just to really exaggerate it. Not too far off. Take these parts here, we can probably put the brushed aluminum finish on here. Something a little more texturized, a little darker, a little gruffer. That's too dark. Almost, actually. Darker version of that would be good. Too dark. Oh boy, what the heck was that one? Really brushed. Not quite. Some of these are like really, really bright. It's not quite what I'm going for. Something a little darker, a little textured. I guess we could just go with texture for the time being. Because the shadows will take care of that, I'm sure. I mean, so far, Hylian Shield's actually looking really good. We've got the basic shape and the banding across it. It does kind of stink that for some reason it doesn't want to emboss a little more. You know what I realized might actually be the issue? Is we might need another work plane. Come out like, say, 1/4 inch. And I might need to put this plane, like, say, up here, so it comes sooner as far as the tree is concerned. Redefine this on this sketch here. We might be able to actually get a little bit more emboss out of here. We might be able to say that this could be, like, let's just see if we could double it. We might be able to, we might not. That could be the whole issue that we had. As it's thinking, and it's thinking. Come on, you got this. You know you've done this before a million times. I hope it's not fun of coming into some fallacy. No. Seems to be too much even for that. That's a shame. Could even be that change the kind of emboss. That's way too much. That is way too much. Where's that plane? That doesn't seem to matter at all, does it? That just goes all the way up there, doesn't it? That's so strange. Well, we know we can get the banding going on this. I don't think it's going to be able to go any more, which I might have to revisit that one day as to why that is. Something's warping too much, it says. Even the tiniest bit more would be nice. Okay, so unfortunately we did get a lot of this done. We got most of the framework done for the shielding. It's a lot of the detail work coming in, like the Triforce symbol, some of the other greater details, perhaps the shields banding and the handle as well. We'll have to get back to that later on another day, but for what we have done today, we have done quite a few things. We've gotten the Hylian Shield done, we've got Mario's question block done, and we've started off the very simple Sims Diamond as well. So we got some pretty good iconic things on the Nintendo side and on the not Nintendo side too. But feel free, if you have any suggestions, to either throw them in now. Darken, how you doing? Oh, thank you for the lurk, sir. I was not even aware you were there. Thank you for watching. If anybody has any suggestions for more iconic video game memorabilia or things that we can go over, feel free to shoot me, shoot it in chat, shoot it on Twitter, and message, whenever. We got a whole list of things we could do, and I'd love to take your suggestions as well. But unfortunately, that is all the time I have for today, and we will be going back to Dark Souls 2 tomorrow as a note. But we are not going to leave you hanging. We will find someone to send you on off to, as per usual. The question is, who and what are they doing today? I would send you on off to her, but we sent you off onto her like 2 or 3 times already. So we need to find somebody new. For some reason, nothing's loading up. Okay. How about we send you on over to... Let's send you on over to Heal Please Heal, who's doing some RimWorld. I think it's... Oh, yeah, okay, let's go Heal Please Heal. I almost changed my mind there, but I think it's about time due that we send him a raid too. So, unfortunately, that is all the time I have for today. Tomorrow, we will be back with Dark Souls 2, and we will probably do a little bit more 3D modeling in the future as well, not just this one time. I'd like to continue this more. But anyway, that's all I have time for today. The bot is down, so I can't give you the raid message, but I will see you guys next time. See you later.